Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode here of the DEANO Show. Great to be back with you all for this week's episode. I imagine if you're listening to this, you watched the game last night. And I'm just going to say this, that was the greatest NBA game I've ever watched in my entire life. And I don't think anything will come close to it, at least. Maybe something will down the line, but in this exact moment in time right now, there is nothing that will come close to that game. The emotions, the electricity, just all of it was the greatest game in NBA history. I mean, in NBA history finals. You know, I only know so much about all the games back in the day, but like present time, modern time, down say 29 points to be exact, but 30 points, and you come back in really, the second half of the third quarter into the fourth quarter and take the lead with under a minute left for the first time the game. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. It's one thing for it to be going on in, the NBA Finals, which obviously makes it very exciting. But for it to be going on at MSG in New York City at the biggest arena in all the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, it was just amazing. Pure joy watching that game. Got a little battle scar here. I'll roll the clip, but, had some glass shatter on my head. I don't know what was happening. Let's roll the clip. No! Was celebrating with my friends in the bar. All of a sudden, my head is soaking wet. There's ice and glass all over the table. Someone threw a martini glass. Wish I could tell you where it hit, how did it cut my head open or cut my forehead over here. Don't have that information for you, but you can see in the video, I'm celebrating, and then all of a sudden I'm like wiping my face and my head is soaked. So again, complete jackass trying to throw glass over my head, but it is what it is. We got a battle scar from Game 4. One to remember for sure. I don't think I'll ever see an NBA game that good in my life. I'd love to go to one of those games. I'd love to go, but you can't even walk in that door without spending at least $7,500, and that's I just don't have that money. And it's pretty much celebrity land when you look at all the people that were at those games, sitting courtside and just kind of all over the arena. Just you need FU money to go to that game. At least if you want to have good seats, let alone be in the bleeds, you're in for at least $5,000. And that's just on the ticket itself. So, yeah, I'm just still in disbelief that they managed to come back. When, at halftime came around, they were kind of making a run in the third quarter. My buddies and I were like, things are, looking pretty good. It doesn't look like they're totally out of it just yet. They just kept on chipping away. And look, basketball is a huge game of runs. It's always been that way. It is a game of runs. And when you get hot and their team gets cold, weird shit just happens. It just happens. And for this instance, fourth quarter, Knicks just started raining threes. And in the first half into the third quarter, I think the Spurs were at one point 11 for 16, 11 for 15 from three. They just could not miss from beyond the arc. And I was like, this is just crazy. It's not even the Knicks are playing bad defense. The Spurs just won't miss a shot. It was just one of those, everyone was hot on the team, on or off the bench. Everyone's just knocking down threes. But look, the Knicks found a way. And, you don't want to go back to San Antonio 2-2. You just don't. You just don't want to get yourself into that situation or even think about what's going on, especially after being up 2-0, going back to the Garden. You're thinking, all right, we're at least going to win one, maybe two. And, a sweep was highly unlikely. Like I said in the last week's episode, I don't think a sweep was really realistic. I think the Spurs would fight back, and they've done exactly that. So to be going back 3-1, look, you just got to close it out now. It would be great if they won it in 4-1. I would love that, but I think it would add a little more fire or add a little more flame to the fire and win it in New York for Game 6, 4-2 would be better because you're winning it in your home state. But if I just want to see them win it at this point, I just got to win it. After what happened last night, I think their luck is pretty much running out. So as long as they just get a win, I'm happy with it, and I think the whole world will be happy. I posted a TikTok about this earlier this week, and there's this huge stigma online, and I've seen people talk about it many times about sports, and if you watch sports and you're distracted, and sports are just distractions to actually what's going on behind the scenes in the real world, and then the government and sports are all just distractions and you're lazy if you watch sports. It's like, dude, first of all, sports brings people together like nothing else in this world. Nothing else sports brings us together. With all the bullshit and all the nonsense that happens in this world, there isn't one thing greater than sports that where two people can, in this example I use politics, but two people can be on completely opposite sides of the political spectrum and absolutely hate their guts for it in politics. But when sports come around and they're voting for the same team, everything goes out the door. What's going on in the real world or what's going on in day-to-day life, everyone immediately forgets about that and comes down to one sporting event and whatever that sporting event is. It doesn't have to be the NBA, it can be any sport there is. But that's what's so special about sports. And that's what makes it so fun to watch. Like last night, and this was just one bar, and it wasn't even really all that crowded. We were just in my hometown, and my buddies and I, we were cheering with like kids. I had no idea who they were. They were probably younger or older than me, but it was just the fact we were all coming together as one big group rooting for the same team. And it's just electric. Like I said, it brings people together like nothing else in this world. And that's the power of sports. You saw in Game 3 when the first time the Knicks walked out onto the court for MSG, I was watching the TNT pregame with like Chuck, Ernie, and those guys, and I think it was Ernie, and I think Chuck also said it, but he was like, this is just completely electric, just absolute goosebumps. You can feel the energy, and I was on the couch watching it. I couldn't imagine what it's like, the energy-wise, being inside of MSG when that is going on. But yeah, this whole like sports or distraction stuff, then why are you posting videos on TikTok or Instagram telling us how sports are a distraction when you're on social media, when you're on Instagram? Because if you really weren't distracted, you wouldn't be on those apps, because those apps are clearly distracting you. So it's just funny how people, take the joy out of things and look for reasons to find the negative, and it's just dumb. But in my eyes, sports are some of the greatest things we have in this country. Unites us all in, like I said, so many different ways, and it's just very fun to watch. Playoff atmosphere, playoff hockey, playoff NBA, we got the World Cup going on. That'll unite the world in some way. Like, it's just, sports makes you forget about all the bullshit that happens in the world, and it's so fun and it's so electric to watch. And look, the NBA series has been great, but so has the NHL playoffs. This Vegas Carolina game has been one of the most back and forth, really, Stanley Cups I've watched in a while. Just someone goes up, immediately ties it. Someone goes up, immediately ties it. Back and forth, competitive hockey, and it's just all around right now. We're getting into like the peak of sports right now. We got the U.S. Open in golf coming up in a couple weeks over at Shinnecock. We got NBA Finals, NHL Playoffs. We got the World Cup just starting off. Like, this is a good time to be a sports fan. MLB still getting good. And, this is it. This is the bread and butter when it comes to sports. And, dude, being a Spurs fan, going to the Garden, and then I've seen a couple of videos of Knicks fans just, beating the shit out of Spurs fan, which, by the way, is just completely, you're the scum of the earth if you beat someone up when they're just walking down the street. Like, I saw this video of this Spurs fan who was, just walking out of the Garden or wherever he was, and he just immediately got swarmed, and next thing you know, his face is gushing blood, and I was like, what are we doing? People just take things out of way too much control and just ruin the moment. People are assaulting police officers. I mean, I get it. It's chaos. It's nonsense. People do dumb shit, and at the end of the day, people have free will. But you're playing. I mean, if I was a San Antonio Spurs fan, I would not wear a Spurs jersey to the Garden. I mean, it's just not worth it. People are crazy out there, and they're just going to kick your ass for literally no reason, like that guy in the video. I don't know if you guys saw the video or you know what I'm talking about, but this Spurs fan just started running because he knew he was about to get his ass kicked for literally no reason. He wasn't even engaging in anything, at least what I saw from the video. I didn't see him antagonizing people or whatnot. But the World Cup's just starting to kick off. Look, a lot of teams can do it. Obviously rooting for the home team, rooting for USA, and I think it'd be really cool to see them make a run. I hope they at least are competitive. Like I said in last week's episode, I hope they get out of the group stage, which I think they will. But you never know with Team USA. And look, soccer is one of those things that kind of all up in the air. From me playing FIFA a bunch and my international soccer knowledge, I think my sleeper team of the year is Germany, even though they're not much of a sleeper team. I just think they got great talent on that pitch. I'm talking in soccer terms now, but they're kind of my sleeper team. I wouldn't be surprised if Germany makes a deep run, or Netherlands. Netherlands doesn't get a lot of attention, but They were the ones who kicked the USA out last year. Pretty good. Big Verge, Cody Gapko. Who else is on Netherlands? Xavi Simons, but I think he's hurt. I think he broke a leg, or I don't know what. I think Javi's hurt. But World Cup is sick. The biggest stage in all the world. World Cup finals, at least, where like people are like stopping at green lights to like watch who's kicking a PK or like what's going on in the World Cup. Just totally unites the world under one sport. And it's just very exciting. And as I've gotten into more soccer and started playing soccer in college, I appreciated the sport a lot more, and really like understood like how much, you know, from the outside looking in, it looks like a pretty easy sport. You're just kind of kicking the ball around. But when you're actually like playing soccer, you're running full speed with the ball, dribbling and that stuff is like ridiculously hard if you've never actually done it. And I learned that firsthand from playing club soccer. I was like, these guys make it look so easy, like so many professional athletes do in all their sports. But one of those sports where I was like, wow, these guys make it look way too easy on TV. And it's just the biggest stage in the world when it comes to sports. So obviously rooting for Team USA, but my sleeper pick, Germany. But I think it'd be cool to see France win. Me and Due, we're obviously boys. Picture in Times Square. That's my guy. I'm his guy. So, or Portugal. It'd be really cool to see Ronaldo get a World Cup. Messi got his last year. I mean, this has to be their last World Cup for both of them. So it'd be really cool to see Ronaldo on his last World Cup tour get it done and win one. But aside from the sports world, I want to talk about like content as a whole in like where we are, like 2026, and like my opinion on everything, where I think things are going to go. Kind of my mission personally with content, and just content in general as a whole for the current, I guess, scape of content. The current phase of content is obviously very clip form and short form content's kind of taken over right now. There's obviously still long form content on YouTube, and definitely still some channels that are still getting a lot of buzz on YouTube, and people obviously still watch them. But all of it, you know, like it has been for the last couple of years, has been short form content, clipping, that whole stuff. Which, by the way, I hate clipping stuff, and you know, all the streamers, and that's like kind of how they run their content, and it's all through clips. Because in reality, unless you're iShowSpeed or someone like that, I don't know how you really watch these streamers. Like, I just genuinely don't know how they get 25,000 viewers when they're just playing a video game, to be honest. Like, I get it, they're like really good at the game, they're a popular streamer, but like, how do people just sit there and just watch someone else play? I don't know. I've always thought like streaming itself, like people are like, oh, I'm a streamer. Not really my thing. My whole thing and my content itself is love YouTube. Forever will always be YouTube. I think YouTube's the best platform there is for many reasons. And YouTube's going to be my mission for content. I want to be one of the biggest YouTubers out there someday. That's a long life goal I've had since watching YouTube videos. I just get a thrill of doing them from my own experience. Like when I was in Bali and I was creating YouTube videos, I was like, this is fucking so much fun right now. Like, this is what I want to do. This is how do I get to this point where I can do this? Long way to go, no question about it. And we're very, 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 very far away from getting there. But I think that's the whole point. It's the chase of going after whatever you want to do in your life and making it happen. One life, man. Just genuinely one life. And the amount of people that let their dreams just be dreams and let time pass and just do what you're told and all that type of stuff, it's scary how many people do it. And it's hard. Of course it's hard. And, you know, so many people, at least with short form content, all they talk about is like how to gain more followers, how to pick your niche. Like, these are the times you should post, use these hooks. Like, that stuff is just, I hate that stuff. Like, I hate listening to people talk about this stuff. It's just, I just don't like it at all. I don't think there's really like content strategies. I think if your content's good enough, people are going to watch, and if people don't watch your content, it probably just means your content isn't any good. And if you want to gain a big following on social media, just don't stop posting and be yourself and post forever. Like, there's no secrets to anything in life. You know, like, so many people try to sell you on some like secret little like trick, whether it's in content, whether it's in like self-help or like anything of that world. They trying to give you some like magic potion that's going to make your dreams happen like that. Like, it's just not, there's no shortcuts. In today's society, our generation, especially Gen Z, people are so used to playing the victim and like wanting the short-term gratification and getting whatever it is they want. And we all have, I'd argue, from short-term content, just fried our like patience, and the fact that you have to actually earn something and put in the work to get it. That's kind of gone out the window, in my opinion. And you see it just everywhere. People just want the short, quick dopamine hits, and like if they put a video out and it doesn't do any views, they're like, oh, this sucks, like I'm never going to be popular, I'm never going to gain a following, I'm never going to gain any of that stuff. When in reality, dude, it's like you gotta just work. Like there's no way around it, especially in content. If you want to be someone who's going to make content and make it actually last and like create a career off it, you have to build a foundation to who you are. And that's kind of the phase I am in right now, is building a foundation. I'm setting myself up for the 5 year, the 10 year, the 15 years down the line. Yeah, I might not be getting crazy amounts of views on these DEANO show episodes or crazy amount of views on my TikToks or any of that stuff, but that's okay. That's besides the point. You got to start somewhere, and I remind myself of that all the time because I fall into the trap of comparing myself to Chris Williamson or Rogan or like all these huge names who are on chapter at 1500 of the book, and I'm on chapter like 5. Like I've really just I'm new to all this stuff. I've just kind of started it. I'm just kind of hitting the ground running. I'm just taking baby steps at this point. And so I've just tried to remind myself that it doesn't happen overnight. Nothing, at least nothing good or like nothing that'll last a while will happen overnight. Sure, you might get like the overnight, a lot of likes and views, gain a lot of followers. It's all good. It's all part of the process. But for me, and what I believe, that if you actually want to build an actual following, something that actually lasts, then it's going to have to take years of dedication, years of not seeing the results and just staying with it and not giving up. That's really all it is. You want to achieve your dreams or whatever your dream is, sacrifice a lot, be ready for hard times and a lot of no's before you get the yes, and uncertainty. Is it ever going to work? That's kind of the price you pay for going after the big thing. And I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm not going to sell you on this is what you need to do. No, you already know what you need to do if you're watching this and you have a dream or something you want to do with your life. You already know what it is. You just have to do it. Like there's no, all of self-help, all of any of that stuff can be boiled down to literally just doing the thing. You can listen to all the Hubermans, the Rogans, the Williamsons, the Navals, like all of these people. It's all good. They're all very successful people in their field, but everything just comes down to do the thing, and you'll find the magic you're looking for and the thing you avoid. And don't give up. This probably sounds boring to listen to and sounds kind of repetitive for me to say, but it's true. There's no secrets. It takes years of dedication. Just do the thing, and it'll happen if you believe in it and just believe in yourself. Like it's pretty simple. So I kind of got a little distracted from like content in 2026, but I think people, to go back to that, I think people are just sick of brain rot Instagram reels. Like in my mind, there's the doom scroll, which is the content you consume to pretty much just pass time, whether you're doing whatever, you just like want to scroll and pass time. That's like, what many people do. And then there's also the content that you're like looking forward to watching later in your day, where you're actually going to sit down, put on the TV or on your laptop and like actually enjoy and watch it because you're that involved. And how do I get there? I don't exactly know yet. That's what I'm trying to figure out. At least right now, it's pretty challenging, but down the line, how do I get people to get really excited about my video, not just watch it to pass time, but actually enjoy what they are watching. And hopefully they're getting something out of my video. And I've had that's kind of what got me into YouTube in the first place, was having that feeling of like, I'm pumped to watch this YouTube video right now. And I'm like, put the phone away, get the popcorn ready. I'm in. Like, how do I achieve that with an audience? And, that's kind of the $1 million question. Like, for example, when I watch Casey Neistat videos, who, by the way, one of the best YouTubers of all time, kind of invented vlogging, any video he makes, I'm just sucked into. And his videos are relatively short, probably like 7 minutes to like 20 minutes max, but I'm locked into exactly his video. A lot of it has to do with his editing technique, his music style, the quick cuts, the storyline. He's a very good storyteller, knows how to tell a story on just the simplest little things that just capture you. That's what I want to get to one day. Long way away, but that's where I want to get to some point in my life. And This is, like I said, this is the foundation of me laying this. So, look, I'm just over the brain rot, scroll, waste time. If I'm going to go online or watch a video, I want it to be something meaningful. I want to learn something from the video. I want to be inspired to chase my dream, find my purpose in their video. And that's kind of the feelings I've got from watching YouTube videos, and which gave me, the ultimate courage and faith to be like, you know what, like, I do want to do this. Because without those videos, I don't know what my dream would be. Like, that was how the dream got started for me. Watching Jay Alvarez crazy travel YouTube videos back in like 5th grade, and then in high school it was like Nelk, and now it's some other now it's kind of shifted to all short form. Like, there's no one kind of at the top of the game for YouTube. I mean, Casey still posts, and I still watch his videos, so he's kind of still at the top. But like, besides that, like, the stuff out in LA is all like trend based, and it's all like money and girls, and there's no like real story. There's no real meaning behind any of the content. There's no like real YouTube group out there that's like dominating YouTube. And one day, hopefully, I'm the one who's dominating YouTube. And yeah, that's it, man. That's the bread and butter. I think international videos, like when Nelk has done international videos, like when they went to Russia or India or that foreign tribe island with Forrest Galante, like, those videos are sick. Like, the story behind those videos is awesome, and it's amazing. And that's the stuff I want to do ultimately one day. And how I'm going to get there, I don't know, but more of this, more of everything, really. So that's kind of my whole take on content 2026, where I want to be down the line in 5 years, 10 years from now, and so on and so forth. But another big sporting event coming up this Sunday, UFC 250 at the fucking White House. That is sick. That is, whoever thought we would have a sporting event at the White House? That's what happens when Trump's in office. Like, he just kind of does stuff like that. Obviously, him and Dana are great friends, and Trump loves the UFC, goes to a bunch of the UFC fights, and he was probably like, absolutely, we're doing it. So, pretty sick card. A lot of good fights on it. There's like 4,000 tickets or so, if that. I don't even think they're open to the public, to be honest, but really, really looking forward to that. I don't know how you can stream it. If it's something you got to pay for, if you don't have to pay for it, because in the past, YouTube, or you've always had to pay for the UFC cards. Shout out to Max Brewer if you're watching this, for your brother's ESPN Master account. Got all the UFC pay-per-views for free in college, so that was a godsend. Appreciate you. And yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to the UFC. UFC is another one of those sports that I didn't really have much history in, or didn't really pay attention to all that much until probably like junior, sophomore year of college. I started to get more into it. I wish like Conor McGregor and Khabib and like all that stuff, and like that was like the peak right now, because back in the day, that was like some of the best fights ever, only of the highlights I've seen, and McGregor in general, of his personality versus Khabib. And McGregor has to be one of the top UFC trash talkers, really just trash talkers in any sport possible. Like, he was just so creative with coming up with stuff on the spot. Jose, I think it was that press conference, which, by the way, when they were saying that, I don't know what year that was exactly, but Dana was definitely thinking in that moment, like, holy shit, this dude McGregor is crazy, and his fans are insane. This is going to blow the UFC up, and it sure did. But he was like, I'll invade his favela on horseback and kill him, or it was like something along those lines. And I was like, damn, like he just had the shit talking gene where he would just come up with it on the spot, and it would just land every time. I mean, that fight, you could argue that fight was over before it even started, with all of like the momentum and all the buzz around McGregor, and that whole like, Jose, are you listening? McGregor's coming for you. He'll do you into walking in McGregor, like that. I would be shitting myself if I was Jose Aldo. I mean, I'm just like, what am I getting myself into? Of course, you have to believe that you're going to be the one who's going to win the fight, because if you don't believe that before even going in, you're obviously going to lose. And there was some like visualization thing that McGregor talked about. He knew like exactly what he was going to do to win the fight. I forget the clip, but he was like, Aldo's going to overexpress on his right hand, and I'm going to be able to get him with my right hand or something. He had it down. He had the exact KO down to a T, which just goes to show you the power of visualization and really believing in the unseen before it becomes real. Conor McGregor talks about it all the time, but the law of attraction is attracting things and visualizing things. It's true. It's a real thing. But again, another like Gen Z content thing, 2026. So many people talk about like manifesting, and yeah, that stuff's only real if you actually act on who it is what it is you're manifesting. Like, I can't just sit in my bed and manifest me becoming a huge YouTuber and never making YouTube videos or doing anything about it. Like, it's not good. The work's not going to do the work for you. And I feel like a lot of people kind of make it seem like that way through short form clips and TikTok and Instagram and Reels and all that stuff. Like, oh, just manifest your way to your dreams. Like, not really. You got to do all the work, and then it'll kind of happen, if that. But you got to be the one who put in all the effort and really make it happen. And it's amazing. UFC on America's 250th birthday. Guys are fighting. We're going back to like gladiator days, except it's modern day gladiator, which essentially is what the UFC is. If you kind of think about it, they just don't fight to their death. Well, not literally, but you can be stone cold knocked out and you're seeing stars. Yeah, this last topic, wrestle God, something I wrestle with all the time. And I follow Jesus. I believe that if you follow Jesus Christ, his teachings will make your life better. I don't think there's a lesson in the Bible that if you don't apply to your life won't improve. I think since I've started reading more in the Bible or paid attention to my relationship with God, my overall well-being as a person has improved. I've gotten more of like a genuine just pleasure to be alive. I've kind of adopted this mindset that if I wake up in the morning, the win, it's already a win. Whatever else happens in my day besides me waking up is the cherry on top of the cake. Like, it is just such a blessing to be alive, to have a chance at this game of life, to have a healthy body that I can improve every day and work out and get stronger and more fit and better cardio. Like, there's so many little blessings in all of your lives, if you're watching this, that go under the radar and that you take for granted that, you know, some people don't have. And I'm guilty of it too. But I will say, like I said, since I've started reading the Bible, they're focused more on God and the man upstairs. It has just improved my life overall. And someone who's on the opposite side of that, you guys may or may not know him, but Alex Hormozy, who used to be a Christian growing up. He was a full-on believer of God, you know, believed in God and all that stuff. And as he got older, he's had a tough time believing in the whole resurrection, believing that Jesus Christ came down to this earth, the creator of the universe was here and ultimately rose from the dead. But I think one thing that he brings up that I wrestle with all the time is, like, he talks about the 51% versus 49% of, in this instance, being a Christian. Like, are you 51% saved? Are you 49% not saved? Like, if I had held the door open, would I have been on the good side, 51%? And if I didn't hold the door open for the old lady, am I now on the bad side? And so I guess that just kind of keeps me up night, and this is where I wrestle with God. Like, if I go to a club or if I go out, I meet a girl, and then we have sex on the first night, which I don't like doing, which I think is not a good idea, that if you go out, you immediately should have sex with a girl. I do not think that's a good idea. That's bad. I don't think hookup culture is good, genuinely good for society. It's kind of ruined romance in some ways. So, but like, if that happens, how do I ask for forgiveness, but then I do it again? And like, you know, it just gets me down a loophole of, I know I'm gonna swear. I try not to swear, but it's like, all the times that I do I ask God for forgiveness after each night that I sweared? Or do I just keep on doing it, and until I'm ready to ask for forgiveness, I'll ask for forgiveness? Like, but am I at the 51% or am I at the 49%? Like, you know, this is where I start wrestling. This is how I go down the rabbit holes of, am I allowed to go get really drunk with friends, or like on my wedding? Like, you know, there's so many different scenarios that in my head I'm like, am I 51% good or am I 49% bad? And I put my faith in God. So many people say they believe in God, but they don't really act on as if they believe in God and really die for God. A lot of hypocrites out there. And I've been a hypocrite myself, of course. It's definitely a relationship that if you're going to follow God, get ready for your life to totally transform. There's just no way around it. It's a relationship that you got to be all in on. There's no kind of, I'll kind of dip a toe and follow God. No, like, if we're following God, and we're doing it. And as you should. I mean, he's the creator of the universe. Jesus Christ walked this planet. He walked this planet and he rose from the dead. I fully believe that. And like I said earlier, I believe that if you read the Bible, everything just makes so much sense. Like, so many of the problems that they had last 2,000 years ago are the same exact problems that people deal with today. Being afraid, questioning what's happening in your life, being anxious. Like, all things God says, do not be anxious. Do not be afraid. Like, ask and you shall receive. Like, there's so many things that are said in the Bible from 2,000 years ago that just make total sense to this exact time and day and age. So I just don't know how you really couldn't believe in a creator. Put Jesus Christ aside for one bit. Like, if you just didn't believe in God or like Jesus, let's say you didn't believe Jesus existed. I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know how someone can really be an atheist. That takes unbelievable faith. It takes more faith to be an atheist than it does to believe in God. To think that all this is kind of meaningless and that we just are existing in outer space and there's no ultimate creator to any of this. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you believe that. Forget about human life. Just look at the world in general. All the animals, all the rivers, the mountains, the trees, like all these species, all of us. Like, there has to be someone who created it. Like, it just, there just has to be. There's no way that this was not, and this is all an accident. Because everyone has morals. Everyone knows that I can go punch a baby or I can go punch a random lady on the street, but that's a bad thing to do. And if there was no God, then that wouldn't really mean anything then. Then, like, I can just do whatever I want. And right now, I still can go do that. God gave everyone free will to do what they want and to believe what they want. You can do anything. Go commit a crime. Like, there's no laws. I mean, yes, there's laws, but you have the ultimate free will of your life. So, I wrestle with God all the time. But I think that's a part of the relationship with him. I think that's a part of being alive. Yeah, I have started reading. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs, and each morning, depending on what day of the month, like it's June 10th or June 11th right now. So today was chapter 11 of Proverbs, and like I read that every morning, and that kind of sets my tone for the day. That kind of sets what that chapter is about, what I'm going to act on from the chapter to my day. And it's a great way to start my day. You start your day with God, end your day with God, and it's a healthy, better than scrolling on TikTok or Instagram the second you wake up and just immediately looking at negative stuff or brain rot content. Yeah, a relationship with God is definitely important, as he is the creator of the universe. He has called me to do this. Pursue YouTube. Pursue the DEANO show. Pursue it all. Go after your dream. I have a chance. I have a chance. That's all that matters. What you do with your time, what you do with your life. Did you do the right thing? Did you follow your dream? That's another thing. Is like, I don't know what happens when we die. I believe I go to heaven. But in terms of my soul, in terms of, am I going to be able to like see my family, my friends? Like, am I going to have no one really knows until you experience death. There's talks that when you die, your body releases full like DMT, which is like sick. Natural DMT trip. I don't know if it's actually true or not, because no one dead can tell you what happens when you do die. I think your soul is still alive. And a scary place for me that I think about is, if my soul's still alive and my soul, which is God's truth of who he wants me to be, we all have that. It's an inner compass. And I think the ultimate test out of life is if you followed your soul and believed in what was inside of you and went after that. Spoke the truth, followed your heart, and followed your soul. Because if you do have if you're conscious on some level, then I believe your soul is alive. And I don't want to get to the point where I die and my soul's alive and it's just like, you let my soul down. You didn't do what you wanted me to do for you. You had all the chances you could, but you were too afraid to do so because of reasons that are so dumb and not worth it. Because you were afraid. Of course it's scary. That's the whole point. If it wasn't scary, there'd be no meaning or no real story behind it. So I don't know what happens when you die. I don't know if my soul, I don't know any of that stuff, but I definitely think about it. And like I said, a scary thing for me is letting my soul down. Because we exist in a world, at least in my mind, your mind too, that all the shit, all the thoughts that happen in your mind, none of those are true. None of that stuff is actually real. It's all just crap. But what stays real and what is forever real is your soul. There's no truth behind that, or there's full truth behind that. There's no truth in your mind. Like you can't change God. You can't change your spirit. When I think of the word inspiration, in spirit, you can't predict when you're going to be inspired. You just get inspired. Like it just hits you at random times. A lot of times I'll be like in the shower, like half asleep going to bed, on a train ride just looking out of the window, on a plane looking out the window. I'm like, oh, I'm so inspired to do X, Y, and Z. You got to act on your inspiration. That's God. That's the real source of frequency and the real you trying to express itself. And for so long, I was so scared to express that part of me. Whenever I'd feel inspired, I would immediately just put it down and push it down and push it down and not express myself. And it's led me to be all tense and just carry this baggage of inspiration that needs to be freed. A bird can't fly in a cage. A bird can't fly in a cage, literally. A bird needs to trust its wings and fly. And I was a bird trying to fly in a cage and just pressing myself down and pressing any inspiration I got immediately was like, no. But we're over that now, and I'm acting on the inspiration. It feels good. It feels like really good. The second you get like a cool thing you want to do or inspired to do something, immediately act on it. Immediately act on it. Because the hot coffee eventually turns cold. So act on your inspiration. Follow your spirit, because that is the holy truth. That's what makes you you. That's a life well lived, in my opinion. If you sacrifice everything to follow your Holy Spirit and follow who you were meant to be, who at least God created you to be. That's kind of my inspiration on that, and it feels good. I definitely can say with my own experience, don't baggage your inspiration. Let your inspiration fly. You don't know where it's going to take you. It's an exciting path when you follow your inspiration. So yeah, man, that's all I got for this week's episode of the DEANO Show. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you guys liked me kind of expressing myself, expressing my wrestling with God, my inspiration, who I am as a person. Maybe you learned some things about me you didn't know. So as always, if you're new here, subscribe, like the video, drop a comment down below. Someone drop a comment down below of something they want me to talk about. I'd love to do that. Or anyone that wants to come on the DEANO Show, drop a comment. DM me on Instagram. Text me. And if you have any recommendations of who you think I should have on, I'd love to have people on. So any of that stuff, do it. Follow God. Follow your spirit. It's a great time to be a sports fan. Go Knicks. Hockey series, I don't care. I just want it to go 7. I want good hockey. Thank you all for tuning into this episode of the DEANO Show. Good to be back with you all for this week, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.